The trouble is, when Australia elects a Labor government, what you end up getting is a Labor government. I mean, they promise to be something else. They generally always promise to be something else, but then they always retreat to type. You remember when Kevin Rudd promised to be an economic conservative, a kind of younger Labor version of John Howard?
A number of people have described me as an economic conservative. When it comes to public finance, it's a badge I wear with pride.
Yeah, he wore the badge all right, but he was anything but a fiscal conservative. Rudd blew the budget with his overblown response to the GFC. He wasted billions on pink bats, on cash for clunkers, on school halls, on a green car plan, you name it. Remember, Rudd said capitalism had failed us and it was time for the democratic socialists to save capitalism from itself. Whoops. Now we've got Labor in power again, of course, and again they were promising to deliver economic benefits.
We will put in place mechanisms that provide cost of living relief. Reducing power prices by $275. I'll build people's living standards up. A better future with real plans to address the cost of living.
By 2025, $275 a year.
$275 a year, taking pressure off the cost of living. Of addressing cost of living issues to take pressure off living standards. There is a cost of living crisis. Meaningful help with your cost of living.
We'll get power prices down by $275 a year.
Now, of course, we've ended up with the opposite. A cost of living crisis, a dozen interest rate increases, and instead of going backwards by $275 a year, power prices have gone up by $500 a year and they're set to keep going. But what you ought to be even more worried about is what comes next. Just the other week, Anthony Albanese announced a $1 billion handout for companies promising to make solar panels here. Now he says that's just a taste of what's to come.
Today I announce that this year our government will create the Future Made in Australia Act. We will bring together in a comprehensive and a coordinated way a whole package of new and existing initiatives to boost investment, create jobs and seize the opportunities of a future made in Australia.
Uh-oh, it sounds like the socialists are coming to rescue us again. Labor says the government is going to step in, investing and subsidising, choosing which industries it wants to support and grow, and guess what? Most of them will be connected to the ideological push towards net zero. In other words, most of them are likely to make things worse. For instance, listen to this.
We need to take a fresh look at how government can support small business and startups and service industries to diversify our economy and our trade.
Well, I'll tell you right now the best two ways to help small business and industry. Deliver affordable and reliable electricity and make the labour market as flexible as possible. But Labor is working in the opposite direction. Its renewables push keeps pushing power prices up and making energy less reliable, and that just discourages investment. In fact, it sends jobs overseas. And Labor also is handing more and more power to the unions, making it harder to employ people, adding costs and encumbrances on businesses, and again, discouraging investment and encouraging companies to send our jobs overseas. So what else does the Prime Minister think is important for this future made in Australia?
Our resources, both in and above the ground, essential to the future of global energy.
Really? Our resources? Labor sees economic potential in our resources? That makes sense, right? The only trouble is Labor doesn't want to use our coal. Oh, and it doesn't want to use our gas either. And of course, it doesn't want to use our uranium. Labor recognises our energy resources bounty, but it wants an energy poor future where we refuse to use our own energy resources. Yeah, that's Labor's version of the clever country. Mark my words, this Future Made in Australia Act will be a huge focus for the government between now and the next election. It'll be used to promise all sorts of economic outcomes and brilliant new projects just like they keep promising to deliver a green jobs bonanza by turning us into a global renewable energy superpower, whatever on earth that is. These are all just slogans, but worryingly, billions of dollars of your money are behind them. Get ready for an endless line of boondoggles where billions of dollars of your money will be wasted on projects that either won't succeed or should be able to succeed without taxpayer subsidies. The only winners here will be the grifters and rent seekers, usually wealthy business people, who line up for the taxpayer grants. I wish I could be more optimistic. I wish this were not true, but we've all seen this movie before. It'll end in blown cash and tears.